Hey guys, what's up? It's Crowd9 TCG here with my April ban list predictions. You can obviously ignore the February ban list. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute because I want to make some points that related from, the February ban list and what can be happening to the April ban list that might be changing from what was changed this time around. I just want to start off by saying, my eye is itchy, oh god. Anyways, I just want to start by saying that I'm gonna go ahead and run through some of the top decks right now and give my opinion about them. And just for full disclosure, I am a Dark Magician and a Trickstar player. So, no biases here. I know you might be like, well, you're a Trickstar player. I feel like that's important to say at least, because I've seen a lot of True Draco players just absolutely shit on Pendulum decks. And it's like, why would you want to ban a Pendulum deck when your deck is topping right now? Pretty much everywhere. And, I just want to give my opinion. So, starting off with the, what is it, the goat of the room, the sheep of the room, whatever the phrase is, True Draco. I hate the deck, I hate going against it. However, I will say that everyone's screaming to ban Masterpiece. I honestly think that's not the issue. In my personal opinion, from the way I see these players play, the way I see them go about them, the biggest issue that I've been seeing is Diagram. The ability to pop a card, grab a card, to have the prevention from battle destruction is just too strong of a card. The extra, you might be thinking, oh, it only gives like 3-something hundred extra attack. That adds up fast and it hurts a lot of the time. Masterpiece at 2950, getting even any kind of bump makes it a lot harder for decks that can't target him with monster effects, can't target him with spells or traps or whatever the case may be. It's very hard to go about that way. So I think that the issue is not Masterpiece in himself, it is Diagram. Getting Diagram to 1 or 2 sounds very weird, but it's almost like we're having a spiral situation here with their field card, where it's just too strong of a card and it can be played in too many decks. There was Dino Diagram, there was Weather Painter Diagram, which wasn't a big thing, that was a thing, just to throw an example out there. And it's Diagram in itself that's very strong. I think Masterpiece should be going down to 2, if not 1. 3, no one's really gonna play him at 3, and giving him a, semi-limited to 2 is good enough. But I think that 1 or 2 is fine, just because, there are people who play 3 just to get him in the hand. He's very strong to have around, and he's pretty easy to get out in that kind of a deck, because, it's built around it. I think Imano Iwata needs to go down to 1 or 0. It's too strong of a card, realistically, with True Draco not needing to, they're able to special tribute summon to fucking... Let me use my card effect to tribute summon. That should be a special summoning. Anyways, just having that whole situation go down, Imano Iwata is just too strong. It makes your current hand unplayable. So you can't use Drawlock, you can't use Ash, you can't use Ghost, or you're stuck. You're in a loop, and the most you could do is play maybe a spell or trap card and hope you have something to go against it at that time frame. But likely than not, if they go first, you're stuck. And that's kind of scary for their deck and what they can set up in turn 1. Again, a lot of searching, and 1 Ash is not going to solve the world of crises right here. That's kind of it for my opinion of like True Draco. I don't think they're that bad, but they're pretty bad. Let's move on to Pendulums. Honestly, I'm going to be that guy to say I don't think they're in a terrible spot right now. I think Electromite needs to go to semi-limited. He definitely needs to go to 2. I know a lot of people only play 2 of them, but when you have 3, that's overkill. Because if you are able to play the 3rd one, you kind of win the game usually, like 9% of the time. Having it at 2 is good enough to where you'll have him, but you need to know that you play the 2nd one, you might lose from here. And a lot of time that's the situation as it is, but if you have the 3rd out, you have the 3rd out. So that's in terms of Electromite. Not a big deal, I think, honestly. You need that card. For the deck to function in the current meta, you need Electromite. Not having Electromite essentially devalues the deck to nothing. And that's something that I say they need to keep. So I'm not even complaining about that. Astrograph needs to go to limited or semi-limited. Without a doubt in the world, it cannot stay at 3. It is too fucking strong at 3. Too strong. way too strong. Get it down. You know, you could play that card in essentially any deck and get something out of it, which is scary, right? You could play it in Trickstars and Dark Magician and essentially any deck. Oh, you pop my card? Special summon. Search out that same... It's stupid. It's really stupid. So it needs to go down to 1 or 2, without a doubt. I don't think any other player will disagree with that. In terms of the FTK with pendulums, I think if you remove Astrograph, you kind of get the FTK potential down a little bit more. It's not a popular enough build to where it needs to get hit, in my opinion. You know, if they get the FTK, they get the FTK. A lot of the time they won't get to that position. It's very hard to. I've rarely seen people do much with it, so gonna leave that one alone. And that's it. Honestly, I just think pendulum players, they just need to get rid of or hit at least the Wavering card. What is it called? Fucking the normal summon, whatever one, where the normal one where it's if it goes to the graveyard, it can be special summon if you have no monsters on the field. That needs to go down to 1, without a doubt. It's too strong. Having it at 3 and having those 3 outs is way too fucking strong, considering you're gonna be popping your field non-stop. That needs to leave ASAP. 1, it needs to go to limited. Don't even bother banning it because it's not gonna get effect. You know, banning it is too much. Hitting it at 1 is just enough. If you get Astrograph to 2 and you give the Wavering card to 1, you're Dark Wavering, something like that, you'll be fine. That's a good enough ratio. I can't think of anything else in the deck that's really that bad right now. So I have the deck and I can literally go check it out right now. Supreme Gate's not an issue, obviously, and Joker is gone. Yeah, that's kind of it. Trickstars. Everyone wants to get rid of Reincarnation, and again, this is me gonna be biased a little bit, and I'm saying that flat out. Reincarnation is not the issue with Trickstars. I will be upfront and say the secret to Trickstars: you need to get rid of the search engine. They have Candina, they have Light Stage, they have Terraforming, they have a lot of outs to do their searching. You know, Pot of Desires, if they really need that extra card, they have a lot of search potential. That's the biggest issue they have, and Scapegoat. Realistically, I don't think Reincarnation is the problem. Yes, you get rid of your opponent's hand. Yes, I guess that's a terrible thing. More so than not, half the time, unless you get the 2 Reincarnation or draw lock combo, or if they upstart or draw, and that's a player mistake, right? If you need to draw enough to where you can draw lock combo it, that's on your opponent. They should know, place all your cards right away, avoid attacking. Well, no, you can attack. Put all your spells and trap cards face down that you want to keep, because no Trickstar player is going to be like, oh, you drop 1 Reincarnation. No one's going to do that. You're going to hold on to that Reincarnation, especially if a draw lock, wait for them to do a search, then Reincarnation draw lock, get that search away, well, give that search away potentially, and lock them out of their hand. So that's what most players are going to be doing, and you don't see that very often. It's one of those like mystical things that you see once in a while. It's kind of hard to get 2 Reincarnations and a draw lock in your hand, or wait for them to draw something, because a lot of the time if you're going against a Trickstar player, and you know, if you search for a Reincarnation through a Candina, they'll more than likely know what's going on, unless you, for whatever reason, have 3 Lycoris and whatever in your hand. Scapegoat is the biggest issue, without a doubt. Just having a free Firewall or free Borload or free Try whatever. There's so many outs with Scapegoat, and you know, all you need is 1 extra normal summon on your turn and bam. I have had Scapegoat get negated a couple of times, get destroyed, or just be useless to me, and that's fine, it happens. But it's a lot of outs that deck, and it's not even topping anything anymore. I got what, 1 top 8 or 16 or something recently. It's right now is not a competitive time for Trickstars, especially with Konami not having the new support out yet. If they want to do something with Reincarnation, it has to be during the next expansion for Trickstar cards, where we're getting their own Honest and stuff, because if they do it right now, the deck is dead up until the support comes out. It makes no sense. They could probably hit Reincarnation to 1. People will probably swap in like honestly, I don't know, probably more trap heavy Trickstar deck, that's for sure, probably. But it won't kill the potential of the deck. Realistically, Reincarnation is not the biggest problem. Scapegoat is. That is without a doubt. I don't think I've won a game where I didn't have a Scapegoat on the field. Well, I have, but Scapegoat is usually the winner, right? You get that warlord out. If they can't strike it, they can't do anything, then bam, take their card, the win. So that's that. Following that, we have, I want to talk about Dinos a little bit. I know it's not the biggest deck in the world and it's not the worst deck in the world, but Dino, right? 60 card Dino, Lightsworn, Dino, True Draco, just pure Dinos with Lost World. It's a pretty strong deck. I think out of that entire deck, double evolution pill needs to get limited to 1 or 2. Just having that free, what's it called? I hate the conductor. Having a free conductor is just too strong. The ability to just give up 1 card on the field or your hand, well, monster on your field or hand, and you know, face down everything on your opponent's field and do 1,000 damage to each. It's too strong of an effect to where conductors only add, you know, just easy to summon with double evolution pill, and it's a searchable card too. That's the issue. If you get double evolution pill to 1 or 2, the deck will still remain strong and more fair and more viable, in my opinion. Same thing with like True Draco and all that stuff. It leads down to having double evolution pill. That's my biggest concern. Following that, and probably like one of the last things I want to talk about is the Invoked Engine, along with like Mech Knights, or I guess Wind Witch, even though no one really plays that. Just the Invoked Engine in itself. Invocation is getting more popularity, but it's not exactly a strong card right now. We just had the ulti reprint, so it's very doubtful that Konami's going to hit Invocation in itself. Maybe to like 2, but no Invocation player is really going to run it at 3. It's a bricky card at 3. They might hit Alistar to 2, and they might hit Magical Meltdown to 2. The biggest issue with all of these decks that I mentioned besides Pendulums is the issue of field cards. Diagram, you know, Light Stage, and now Magical Meltdown. It all leads down to the field card. If Terraforming gets hit to 1, the potential for these decks go a little bit lower. This means people are going to start running set rotation more often just to get that field card as soon as possible onto the field, and potentially have like secondary field cards that they don't want but they wouldn't mind having. One thing that's pretty cool is Seal of Orichalcos with set rotation. You know, you drop it on your opponent's field, you take your field card, and now they're kind of stuck with Seal of Orichalcos, which is pretty cool in a way. But again, if you have it in your hand, you gotta find a way to bring that back to your deck. Overall, I would say that Invocation is not a big deal. Bring Alistar down to 2. It'll slow down the deck a little bit. It won't hurt it. It'll still become a very popular deck. With Mech Knight's not too bad of a concern. I can't honestly think of anything else, so I just want to run down this really quickly and see what could get back in the meta and what might stay completely banned or limited or whatever, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say Gofu, he's going to stay gone. It's too strong of a card, especially if you get a turn 1, and a lot of the time I personally got a turn 1 somehow. Special summon, just get a free like Gaia Saber or whatever. I just wanted to get something on the field. Dandelion, he might get back to 1. I don't see the potential of him staying forbidden forever. Maybe at 1, but it's going to be the same thing as Gofu, but he's a normal summon, he's not a special summon as Gofu, so we'll see on this one. Double Iris Magician, I wouldn't mind seeing him come back, because I would love to play Dark Magician with Pendulums again, and he was a big focus on the deck, but it's very unlikely, especially now with all the Pendulum issues we have with Electromite. It would be too strong. Same thing, Love Leader, I don't think it'll get back here, it makes no sense really, so I'm going to leave that there. Maxi, there's good potential for this to come back at 1 just because of all the special summoning happening right now in this goddamn meta, right? There's so much special summoning that you need this draw engine. It's both a risk as well, so it's not going to be crazy like the OCG where we have it at 3 there. So I think it'll come back to 1. It makes sense to me, and I just want to use my Maxi again, please Konami. Joker is going to stay banned, too strong of a card, leads to too many combos. I don't even want to see him. Not in terms of like Salt or anything, he's just too strong. Towers will stay the same. Grinder Golem will stay at 1. He's lost so much competitive play, or play in general. I don't see him at my locals anymore. I don't see him on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. I don't see anyone playing anymore. It's that one-off that just makes no sense now. Damage Jungler, he's popping up in some Lightsworn decks from what I've been seeing, but that's about it. Not really breaking the meta, not really hurting anything. He's just there. he's making new combos. Fireball Dragon's gonna stay at 1. Having more than one feels overkill for me. Like, it's kind of hard to get more than one out in the field as it is. So 1 is fine. I think Borload is gonna hit 1 as well. It's a very strong card. You don't need more than 1 in a game, but having the ability to get more than 1 in a game is a very scary thing. So that's gonna stay at 1. Monster Reborn, most people don't even play it anymore. Most decks already have their own version of Monster Reborn. Dark Magicians have Eternal Soul, Navigation's not really, Eternal Soul. Light Sworns, fucking, they mill themselves and they just bring themselves back whenever they want. Pendulums, non-stop destruction, restruction. That should be a new thing for Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, like I said, reincarnation with that. What else was there? Alistar kind of just brings himself back. It's a rotation item. Same thing with Invocation. Monster Reborn isn't breaking anything. It's a good card to get in the off chance you need it, but that's about it. So not too big of a deal. Spiral Resort, it's gonna stay at 1. Spirals have become a tier 1.5 deck, if not 2 at this point. They're very strong, and this was the breaking point for them, which is nice to see in a way because of how just dominant they were. Solemn Judgment, people were very hyped to get this. It was a side deck item requirement for a while, and then it was a main deck item for a while, and now no one really touches that anymore, so that's there. That's gonna stay the same. I don't think anything from here. Chain Strike, semi-limited. Remarks. Anything really here to mention though? 200 Tribute's not really making too much of a scene. I played it out at 3 for a couple decks. It's not the best, unless you're playing like ABCs or you're playing Trickstar depending, Dark Magician depending, Weather Painters depending, but that's not even meta. You know, Spiritual Ritual Beasts. Decks that aren't meta are not going to utilize 3 of these. Ojama Trio not hitting anything, Ceasefire not hitting anything, Bottomless Trap Hole, people were excited for it, and then Solemn Strike is still better. Sacrifice, people were hyped over this and inflated in price, now it's useless. Preparation of Rites, it's not a ritual meta. Herald Painter is the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. Mind Control, this I think needs to go back to limited. I main deck 2 in Trickstars and 1 in Dark Magician. I can tell you how good this card is. I take my opponent's cards 90% of the time. I don't care if I get it turn 1. It is still such a useful card to have in your hand for turn 2. It's a great card. I think it's too strong as unlimited. Too strong, personally. Future Fusion, don't care. Shadal Fusion, don't care. Brain Control, Mind Control, just better. Doesn't matter. Thunder King Ryo, I side deck 1 for Trickstars for the hell of it, and it doesn't get anything, honestly. Card Trooper, again, this ban list was focused around more non-meta decks, I would say, besides like the whole Forbidden shit, which destroyed pendulums at the time, and now they're stronger than before. I think so, anyways. I want to see somebody play with the old Pendulum deck list, but with Electromite, and see what they can make out of it. That would be kind of interesting to watch it. But that's it. I mean, honestly, that's my opinions for the ban list. It's been an 18-minute video, Jesus Christ. My throat's already hurting. And let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Just a little bit of an opinion video, nothing too serious. I'll have deck lists and unboxings and everything later on in the future. I'm just trying to get this channel situated for a little bit. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya. Awkward transition to the stop recording screen.